I think there is an unfortunate conventional wisdom perpetuated unfortunately by conventional media that MPs all just walk into parliament and have a good time and have subsidized coffee and then go back without achieving very much. But I can tell you from my own personal experience that there are many members of parliament who work very hard in preparing for debates in parliament about bills, for debates in standing committees about legislation and government oversight. So the conventional wisdom is very far from the real picture. But having said that, there are obviously around the fringes, there are always going to be MPs who look at politics as something other than a full-time job. But at the core of our parliamentary institution, there are many good, sincere, hardworking, committed people who actually walk the talk that they make. I think the biggest responsibility that an MP really has is to hold the government accountable and in a sense have an oversight role on the executive. Unfortunately today, given the lack of information or given the information, the lack of understanding on the part of an MP, or given the fact that an MP does not have the logistical support to analyze data given to him by the executive, the role of an executive oversight by the MP is not actually getting done as much as we would like it to be. So over the next 4 or 5 years, if institutions like PRS can enable that to happen, we can hold governments more accountable for what they do and for the money they spend, because that money that they spend is taxpayer money. So the role of holding government accountable for spending taxpayer money currently is still a weak role and is not a fully, let's say, adequately performed role by an MP. My own view over the last 4 or 5 years that I've been in Parliament, and obviously also from an anecdotal point of view from before that, MPs used to participate in the Parliament mainly through reliance on a lot of rhetoric, political ideology, even on issues that required rational, dispassionate analysis, whether it was a bill or a policy. Over the last 3 or 4 years, I have seen a palpable and a definite improvement in the quality of debate in Parliament. Partly because there are people in Parliament now who are a lot more research oriented, and partly also because of the fact that there is a lot more support to the MPs by way of legislative analysis and research that is available to them. The biggest achievement, as I see, that PRS has been able to deliver is the fact that members of parliament who otherwise would see themselves as not being equipped to participate in a particular debate, let us say a parliamentarian from Bihar or UP trying, conventional wisdom would have them not participate in an economic debate. But PRS has helped with the research that they make available to broad base the number of members of parliament who participate in debates that they otherwise would not have. And I think that empowerment to MPs and giving them the sense of confidence that they can have a view by simplifying the issue, by encapsulating it, researching it, has really been one of the real contributors of PRS to the parliamentary system. I think the work of the committee is very different from the floor of the House in that there is less grandstanding, and there is real effort at creating consensus. One of the big disappointments of the parliamentary system in India is there isn't a genuine underpinning or a genuine thread of needing to create agreements around issues. There is instead a natural tendency to create disconnects, discords, and opposition. And so therefore, that if you take that and compare it to what happens in a standing committee, the standing committee is, maybe because it's not televised, there is a genuine effort at creating consensus and agreement. And therefore, that is why you see standing committees coming up with reports which are more or less always consensus reports.